The Castlevania update is coming soon on the 6th of August, and the devs have shown the changes coming with this PTB. The Dredge got a significant amount of buffs to its kit, starting with an increased movement speed while charging its Remnant ability, increased teleport speed dramatically, reduced the cooldown of the teleport by 2 seconds, reduced the time to break out of a locker by 0.75 seconds, increased the rate of nightfall charges per injured survivor, and most importantly for me, reduced the volume of the Dredge sounds, which made it unplayable for stealth builds. Of course, some of the add-ons will be adjusted. This is a significant buff to its power, as basically every single aspect of it was buffed. This means Dredge is faster overall, can teleport more frequently, can break out of lockers faster, and will have nightfall sooner. Dredge is considered by many to be a frustrating killer to play with, not climbing from C tier, and these changes could actually bring Dredge back to being an interesting and viable killer against top survivors. The one thing I need to test is the sounds that Dredge does. Currently, Dredge is so loud that a survivor can pinpoint its exact location from pretty far away, making stealth builds completely useless, and also made it easier for survivors to track it during nightfall. If this change is good, this could make Dredge finally a stealth killer. The Doctor got yet another set of buffs to his power, this time focused on the static blast. If no survivors are hit with it, the cooldown will be 30 seconds instead of 45, giving you another chance, as well as decreasing the cooldown it had before of 60 seconds. The Doctor's movement speed is also drastically buffed while charging the static blast, and some of the add-ons related to the cooldown of static blast were adjusted. I don't think this is going to change much outside of low MMR, but it's a very huge buff and a very welcome change. The Nemesis also got buffed. This time, they made it so that if you down the first survivor you find, you will get mutation level 2. Additionally, they significantly buffed the hindered penalty duration, as well as adjusted Licker's Tongue and Marvin's Blood. These changes are really good, and we will have to test how the new hindered penalty affects chases with Nemesis, as they said in the past the reason they removed it was because it made it unfun for survivors to play against him. A lot of survivor meme perks were changed and slightly buffed to make them more fun to use. Blast Mine and Wiretap now both activate once 40% of the generator is repaired, making them easier to get, especially when cooperating with other survivors. Chemical Trap is now easier to get than ever, as it now takes 20% of the generator repairs instead of 50%, but now the Chemical Trap lasts less. This is a nerf to pre-trapping pallets with it, but I don't think it's going to change much, and now that you have it more often, it will be a buff overall. Mirrored Illusion had the same change as Chemical Trap. Again, I think this perk is super fun, but it's still not going to be game changing. Dance With Me got its cooldown reduced by half, giving you more value if you decide to run it. This could be a new interesting perk combination with Lara Croft's new perk Finesse and Quick and Quiet. Deception got the same treatment, reducing its cooldown by half. Diversion, or as more people know it, the Pebble perk, now takes 20 seconds instead of 30 seconds inside the terror radius. I still think it would be better if they made it cooldown based. And finally, Flashbang now requires 40% of the generator being repaired instead of 50%, so it's a net buff, giving Flashbangers more opportunities to use it as a tool to save your teammates. Overall, I am glad they are making cooldown shorter for the vast majority of perks, and I think this is a great step in the right direction. Prestiges are finally not shown in the lobby, meaning that killers will no longer dodge the matches when they see a good survivor, and also not tunnel because of the prestige. They will be shown in the end of the match instead, just like that one time the devs tested this system to see if the matches felt better. This is a welcome change, as prestiges do not necessarily mean that you are a good player, but usually they are very intimidating for a lot of killers, especially the casual ones, and some tryhards will also want to tunnel the high prestiges just for ego. Removing the prestiges will reduce the stress level of a lot of players before the match even begins. Now this is one of the biggest changes from this update, and this is a huge change for the meta. That's the increase of hook phases duration to 70 seconds from 60, so it's 140 seconds total. This is a nerf to both camping as well as proxy camping, so it's not going to be noticeable at all for those players that do not use these tactics to play. However, what this is going to affect is those times where a survivor is almost dead and you try to defend the hook in order to punish survivors from not coming to rescue earlier. This is a case that happens a lot, especially in endgame scenarios, and in these situations, the 10 extra seconds will be very noticeable and the difference between a kill and an escape. This is free time for survivors to continue repairing gens and less pressure for killers. I personally don't know what to say about this, but I do think this change is going to impact the high level meta. I am unsure if this is going to be a negative or positive change for the game, and since the PTB rarely has good players on it, I don't think we're going to see the impact of this change until the competitive matches happen, or until killers play against some Navy SEALs. Scratch marks were changed to make them easier to see for killers, which is a very welcome change. Some patches ago, scratch marks became harder to see for some reason, so I am happy that they finally fixed this trash, as it made tracking significantly harder for no reason, especially on indoor maps. The visuals they showed reminds me of how they looked back in the days. As the final change, we have a small rework to Midwich. Remember that one bathroom breakable wall that you can open to go to the second floor? Well, they removed the breakable walls and now that part is open, so it's going to be easier for both sides to get to the top floor without wasting a lot of time. I am honestly okay with this change, as most of the matches, killers will ignore these walls and not break them, especially for characters like the Unknown or the Nurse who can teleport on top. And the other change is to the hallways of this map, where they reduce the long range visibility. This is a buff to stealth killers and a nerf to killers like Slinger, Huntress and Hillbilly. But we will have to see how these new layouts look like. Additionally, they added objects to make it harder for killers to patrol both the exit gates, making it easier for survivors to escape. And that's all the changes coming to this PTB, not counting the new Castlevania DLC. Are you excited and happy with these changes? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.